It seemed like a very odd topic or discussion about a Bert and Ernie. Whether they're gay or not, that's been the question for years. It in fact has, right? Even amongst writers that haven't written for, a Bert and Ernie. But like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. You might want to get those two things and combine them, make them into one. But a Bert and Ernie, I want you, the viewer, to tell me. Because see, that's scandal in itself, right? That's the characters of what children like to watch, right? And yet even grown people like to watch, right? And even there being subliminal messages. Even nursery rhymes back in the day had nursery rhymes, in fact, had subliminal messages, as in dark secrets and dark undertones, if that makes sense. While you were watching it at face, and yet at a young age as a child, you weren't able to say, I was gonna say verbalize. Well, that too, visually being able to see. Well, that's what that mean. A lot of the nursery rhymes we as kids, in fact, paid attention to or heard on TV while there was like either color stuff bouncing on TV showing you the nursery rhymes or whatnot, right? Or just hearing them in class and lessons and all that other stuff, and how you got older and was thinking to yourself, I didn't know what that meant. What's his name? Humpty Dumpty, about him cracking his head and all the rest. How some of that stuff, in fact, points in the direction of death and all that. That's so odd and interesting in itself, right? That has investigation discovery written all over it, yet it's in child format. That's off the hook. So it's the same with Bert and Ernie. The sexual orientation and it being questionable, right? That's to say, if it was verified or came out, then that's to say many parents, in fact, wouldn't want their children to watch. Because there, in fact, are writers or have been writers for, say, characters, say, like for Bert and Ernie. I'm speaking on the outside. It could have been Barney. It could have been anybody. Barney, the Jetsons, Flintstones, anything Barnum and Bailey. Well, I was going to say Barnum and Bailey. Sorry. My mind is all over the place. Not that. Cartoon related. You never know who was, in fact, doing the description of being gay, writing for characters, right? And yet whatever secret is to say, once again, parents will, in fact, would have, in fact, pulled the plug on that so that their child wouldn't be influenced by the man or woman who's behind, and writing. Which is why oftentimes that sort of thing, as we know, the public and even people working, even with Discovery and all the rest, knowing, why stuff is not said or not outed or slightly some and not all the rest, right? People don't want their sales and all the rest to tank because of that sort of thing, right? A mature mindset, open mindset will be able to take the truth, and yet everybody doesn't see like I or possibly you, the viewer, see things where we might be able to take, well, such and such was gay as a writer, writing for, say, a puppet or something like that. Yeah, real human beings exist, and yet some people, they, once again, can't take. That's a tragedy in their own mind. They like to live as escapism, or they like to take that escape route as in not facing that people are in fact different from them, right? So I want you, the viewer, to tell me in the comment description, in the comment, not the comment description, why do I say that in almost every video? In the comment section, do you think or sense and believe Bert and Ernie is gay? Or were they ever gay? A couple, lovers in love, and tongue-tied with that, possibly, in the kissing. That sounds however it sounds, right? The characters in that, and that's kind of besides the kids, I look outside of that's kind of funny, because even to look at puppets, or yeah, some say Muppets or puppets, right? And say, well, that's completely childlike, right? And yet, once again, grown people like to watch that, but that is just so odd to look at them and say, how could they ever be gay? There's somebody behind that, right? And yet you can do that sort of thing, make them into something, and yet not completely. You can on screen, yes, and yet not completely, because remember, they're not human. I want you to decipher and figure that one out, you viewer. So supposedly Bert and Ernie never been gay, and yet again the question still sticks. Executives in fact put forth a note on both Bert and Ernie, stating they are nothing more than puppets, and they too are without sexual orientation. That's what executives have stated. They put that out there, right? So Frank Oz, a puppeteer and creator of Bert's character, Oz is the one who, yes, answered the question. Why am I silent? Because I just said who in fact answered the question. That's why I'm in fact silent. But yes, former scribe of the show Sesame Street claims he felt Bert and Ernie were in fact, yes, a loving couple. That just seems so, not because people know my sexuality, so I have no right to judge a Bert and Ernie, and yet that's just so weird. What if more cartoons started to come on a TV screen, plasma screen, however screen, cell phone screen? People don't say cell phone no more. Phone screen, whatever, right? YouTube, and they're in fact gay lovers, and yet it's cartoons for children, or puppets or Muppets for children, right? I want you, the viewer, to leave me possibly a comment to say, what do you feel about that sort of thing? Would you agree to that sort of thing? Would you think and since believe it will be taken down? Will workers possibly go on strike, such as writers, knowing that maybe they don't agree with that lifestyle, and yet they're forced to say possibly write for a character or something like that, in that form of gay lifestyle, writing for characters like a Bert and Ernie, and them going on strike to not want to be a part of that sort of situation. Not everybody agrees. I said that already, right? So let me rewind back. So a former scribe of the show Sesame Street claims he felt Bert and Ernie were a loving couple, and he gained inspiration for them from his real life relationship with a man. See what I said? How you in fact do have individuals that in fact be gay, and that was already in fact known. So yeah, this information in fact comes late on my end, and yet the question is still going to continue to stick on whatever they are, because it still has been answered, and yet it still has not. So it's basically left up to the viewer to decide, to pick apart with your own mind to make sense. For a gay man to say that he gained inspiration, yeah, I don't even know. I just see cute Bert and Ernie as just cute Bert and Ernie. And even if they were, I mean, it's not really bothersome to me. I just kind of say, like, whatever. In life, there's bigger problems. Hell, there's problems in the world that need to be resolved that's not being taken care of, and yet people be focused more on, well, let me just, find a way to pick fights, and, people in fact do that with crosses, stand outside and picket and all that, because they can't stand the fact about Bert and Ernie and this and that. And I'm like, man, if you use your resources for bigger issues, just think of how much more the world would be better. It is. But if you don't want your child's mind tainted because you feel Bert and Ernie is gay, then it's to say to turn the TV off or something. That helps resolve that sort of thing. So I think that's all to be said about that. I guess the question still in fact remains. Maybe it should. Maybe certain things, I don't know. Maybe certain things should go completely unanswered if a mind is not valuable enough to take certain real life things. If you can't take certain things, questions will continue to still remain until you're able to withstand certain things. That's how life, in fact, rolls right here on Earth. Things that people knew about certain people or certain things will completely go unanswered until minds are able to actually accept what just is right before your very eyes, or what is or isn't, or whatever, and all in between. To not be able to accept is to say, well, there's possibly no answer until there's time to be one. Shouts out to Paula, recommended for you. Description sets, you can click the plus sign right here to add the favorites. Shattered, Fatal Vows, Evil Lives Here, American Monster, Home Alone, Disappeared. See, I have to, in fact, out my sexuality and all that in between to make myself more real, because as society go on, it's time to let go. There's not just one person on this earth. All human life is, in fact, valuable. Despite people saying, well, I don't think that such and such is valuable because they're not the same sexuality or this or that, right? So let's just kill them off and throw them in the dirt. No, all human beings are valuable, even losers. The ones that I, in fact, hate. Let God deal with them, right? Sometimes I don't. I just slap them in the face. That's what I'm known to do, right? I can be, in fact, a hypocrite with even that. Trying to show love to a loser as well as hating them at the same time. Out of the same mouth, right? Pulling the same teeth, right? But I think the differences are made for a reason. Unlocked episode, Shattered, Season 2, Episode 1. What is in fact live right now? What is in fact airing live right now, you ask? In the shadow of Halloween. Seeming Halloween is coming to the forefront. ID. That is so odd how the years go by so freaking fast. Because who was I doing on the camera as I was sitting here? Let me think back on what video I was doing. I don't think. Oh, no, that ain't it. I'm sorry. I was still in the same year. I'm sorry. That was, in fact, Jolie Musa. I paused on the children videos for a bit to give my mind an ease and a break, because I was like, wait a minute, didn't I do somebody on Halloween? And yet that was in fact Michael Myers at the end of one of my Jolie Musa videos. Shouts out to CC with that sort of thing. Me taking a break, because I be feeling stressed out when it comes to doing adult type of stuff, figuring and deciphering who done killed who and why. I can go with the flow of that, but with children, it be eating away at my conscience, where I can't even sleep because I be just feeling just hurt over the brutal, the killings and all the rest, trying to decipher with the kids, which is why I'm still on a pause break with that. But I'm more likely come back. Of course, I'm going to come back with that sort of thing. The children, missing children, and trying to figure out even in murder. But that wasn't hot. That wasn't in fact Halloween. I was in fact talking about the film Halloween in that Jolie Musa video towards the end. So on last night, The Case That Haunts Me, Season 1, Episode 1. The Coroner, that's a good one. To have access to get through this padlock, to gain access is to click there. It's going to ask you for your provider to gain access to that sort of thing. If that just makes better sense. The keys, in fact, keep things locked down. Unlocked series. You can, in fact, scroll through those as well. ID Go Original Series, same thing. Schedule preview. Support to Save the Children's Hurricane Relief Efforts. To donate is to click right here, donate here. Crime Feed News. To gain access is to click right within here. You're going to be directed to, the crime feed on the outside, owned and operated by Discovery. Mass murders, killings, and lynchings, and all type of news. Baby killings and drownings. Baby parents Parents of babies killing them and all the rest. You would in fact find on the crime feed. Yes, news.com. Crimefeed.com. To receive a newsletter, in fact, type your email in and click next with that. Yeah, straight from investigation discovery to be scientifically specific with that sort of thing. So I think I'm going to close this out. I got another video to make. I got quite a few other videos to make. That don't even sound right. That's bad grammar. That's a bad grammar take on my end, and yet it helps to be even more human. I got a few more videos. Let me put it like that. I got Woody Allen next on the list. Woody Allen, where that man been at? Ain't he already in the grave? 1 foot in the grave, 1 in hell and heaven at the same time. That's almost a half 3 feet, possibly Bigfoot. Who knows? I think that's all to be said for now. I'm about to end out, and I'm gone. 1.